We are kicking off today with award-winning artist Machine Gun Kelly, who has a long and sometimes painful history as part of WWE. From producing the theme song for WrestleMania 28 to eating a powerbomb from Kevin Owens on Raw in June 2015, Kelly is no stranger to the company and having run-ins with top stars. Fast forward to WWE SummerSlam, where MGK made a high-profile return once again, and this time he wasn't just a spectator, he played a pivotal role, accompanying Logan Paul to the ring for his high-stakes US title match against LA Knight. But MGK's involvement didn't stop there. During this electrifying event, he had a memorable run-in with none other than Randy Orton, the Viper himself. On the Impulsive podcast, Kelly recalled encountering Orton before the event in Cleveland Browns Stadium begun and remembered past criticisms from WWE's Legend Killer. He said, "I was in the ring just coming to Logan to see what we could work out for the show. I saw Randy Orton. I remember seeing Randy Orton talk shit about me. There was a point where I was like, I'm going to practice a new version of myself. 3, 2, 1, that. Hey man, phew." All my boys were sitting there stunned. Is this real? I don't know what's happening. The amount of people that pinned me as the aggressor in every situation I'm in are so wrong. We can't say for certain how Orton responded, but MGK did what he felt was right at the time, and it's fortunate that this situation did not escalate any further than this profanity. But why did Kelly lash out at Orton in this way? Well, a likely reason may be due to an Instagram post shared by Orton's wife Kim, who he married in 2015. In the post, Kim shares a photo of when Orton proposed to her in Puerto Rico, alongside a photo of Machine Gun Kelly proposing to actress Megan Fox. Kim shared a heartfelt comment with the photo, and several responses were positive, though Randy himself also commented on the post, simply saying, "MGK is a mark." Knowing Orton's history of beefing with rappers, it's no wonder why he's no fan of MGK, as in early 2021, Randy had a series of exchanges with Soulja Boy on Twitter. The Legend Killer went after Soulja for the latter calling WWE fake, and the pair dropped several NSFW bombs to diss each other and continued to blabber online for days. Orton hasn't publicly commented on MGK cussing him out at SummerSlam, but Kevin Owens has, as the prizefighter is ready to get physical with Kelly again. In a tweet, Orton shared a photo of himself and Randy alongside a pic of Kelly and Logan Paul, teasing a tag team match to take place at a future WWE event. Right now, Orton's focus is on Berlin and his World Heavyweight title match with Gunther, but would you like to see this tag team match? Please let us know down in the comments. Orton was on this week's Raw where he spoke about his upcoming match with Gunther, but as he made his way to the ring, the Viper acknowledged a fan sign endorsing Joe Hendry. On Instagram, the TNA wrestling star was thrilled to see that Orton believes in him, and the Viper joins a long list of names that have shown their support for the Scottish wrestler. Did you ever expect to see Randy Orton acknowledging Joe Hendry like this? What do you think is next for Hendry? Let us know in the comments section below. On this week's Raw, Uncle Howdy made his in-ring debut with a victory over Chad Gable, but the macabre Howdy broke character when the show was not on the air. One fan who attended this week's Raw in Providence shared some interesting footage from their experience, showcasing clips of WWE talent that may not have been broadcast. In the Uncle Howdy clip, the masked wrestler can be seen in the ring before Raw got started, and while he was still masked, was wearing a more casual black t-shirt and matching shorts. Uncle Howdy made a huge impression on this week's Raw, and after a win over Chad Gable, expectations remain high for Bo Dallas, his dark alter ego, and the Wyatt Six. On July 11th, 2013, the WWE Performance Center opened its doors in Orlando, Florida, and ever since, it's been a state-of-the-art facility where up-and-coming wrestlers can hone their skills. In recent years, it has also been where WWE films NXT, but this week, reports emerged that the Performance Center would be closing its doors and moving to Las Vegas, Nevada. The original report indicated that Mark Shapiro, the president of Endeavor, shared the news during a meeting that took place at WWE's headquarters in Stamford. Shapiro reportedly credited Las Vegas as a destination WWE would benefit to be a part of, but now more has come to light about the future of the Performance Center. WWE sources who reached out to Fightful said the facility will stay in Florida, and were shocked when they saw the Vegas reports, given that moving would be a logistical ordeal. The cost of living and proximity of main roster talent who live in Florida makes the current Orlando location perfect as it is, and WWE will not be moving to Sin City. With that said, WWE will have a significant presence in Vegas next year, as it was announced back in May that the city will host WrestleMania 41 in Allegiant Stadium on April 19th and 20th. That came after months of reports that WrestleMania would be going to Minneapolis in 2025, but fans excited for the Showcase of Immortals will make the trip to Vegas instead. But what do you think to all of this? Is WWE right to keep the Performance Center where it is currently? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. In 2020, Tessa Blanchard became the first woman to win Impact Wrestling's world title when she defeated Sami Callihan, but this win came amid a sea of controversy. Shortly before her win, multiple female wrestlers alleged that Blanchard was a bully, with one incident allegedly seeing Blanchard spit on the wrestler La Rosa Negra and use a racial slur. La Rosa Negra has said she didn't ask for an apology, and Blanchard herself denied the allegation, but her heat was described as nuclear as Tessa became massively unpopular. After Impact, Blanchard began working for WOW Women of Wrestling, but even there had a huge fallout, and her career has never recovered to where it once was. During her appearance on Straight Talk Wrestling, Blanchard opened up about that challenging period in her career and the days she found the strength to go any further. Blanchard shared that at one point she had significant contracts from major companies, but those vanished after the accusations that changed her life in just 24 hours. Blanchard even begged Impact not to put the world title on her at Hard to Kill 2020, believing it would make the matter worse for her, but they went ahead with the title change anyway. Tessa emphasized that she knew she wasn't the person she was being accused of, and she feels the public still doesn't know the full truth about what happened. Regarding her in-ring future, Blanchard has been in contact with various promotions, but nothing has felt right just yet, and for now, she's focusing on her happiness and mental health. Blanchard also addressed the intense anxiety she faces to this day and feeling uncomfortable in her own skin, but is learning to cope with breathing exercises and self-reflection. The former world champion recalled a moment where she was overwhelmed with despair, so much that she wanted a permanent end to her struggling, as she explained, "I remember one day in my dad's house, I was visiting family and I was just doing laundry. I remember I was moving the clothes from the washer to the dryer and I just fell to the ground, bawling my eyes out. I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to live this life. I don't want to do this anymore. I remember even imagining ways to just end it all, and my ex-husband helped me a lot through some of those moments, but it took a lot of self-counseling too, talking to other people, and just trying to get comfortable in figuring out who Tessa is outside of the wrestling world, outside of the spotlight. When it's all said and done, we came into this world alone, we're gonna leave this world alone. Who am I? What do I like? What do I not like? Where are my boundaries? Where am I gonna say no? What am I okay with? All these things and figuring out how to cope with that anxiety, being comfortable in your own skin, it takes a lot of work, yeah?" Last year, Blanchard and La Rosa Negra resolved their issues with a photo of the pair smiling together being shared online in April of 2023. While that may have been resolved, it remains to be seen what'll become of Tessa Blanchard in the end, as she has other things to keep herself busy with. Do you believe Tessa Blanchard deserved everything she had to go through due to the racism allegations? Let us know in the comments section below. At All In, Will Ospreay defeated MJF to become the new AEW International Champion, and did so using the Tiger Driver 91 move that he had previously retired from his repertoire. That move wasn't the only dangerous spot in the match though, as there were a lot of others, including apron bumps, with one seeing MJF hit Ospreay with a Panama Sunrise. Ospreay's head landed directly on the apron, and he also ate a nasty pile driver for good measure, leaving some to fear that this physical match may have led to injuries. On Fightful Select's Q&A podcast, Sean Ross Sapp was asked about Ospreay possibly being hurt by the pile driver, and said that Will and MJF were completely fine after the match. Time will tell how Ospreay is booked in his second reign as international champion, as a match has already been set out for him for next weekend's AEW All Out pay-per-view. Were you concerned for Will Ospreay's well-being after AEW All In? Let us know in the comments section below. Over to NXT, and before she challenges Kalani Jordan at No Mercy, Wendy Chu had a special opponent for the North American Women's Champion for this week's show. Wendy appeared on the Titantron and instructed a hooded figure to enter the ring, and that turned out to be TNA Wrestling's Rosemary, who got a loud pop as she approached the ring. Jordan looked out of place due to Rosemary's unorthodox offense, and the TNA veteran's in-ring skills and creepy gimmick has seen her terrorizing opponents for years. While Rosemary was a surprise, Jordan recovered and was able to win the match, but Chu appeared from behind and choked out Jordan, while Rosemary looked on impressed. In a post-match angle, the NXT Performance Center was seemingly taken over by spooky clips on the video screens when it was revealed to be Wendy Chu behind the chaos. As for Rosemary, the NXT TNA partnership continues to bring unexpected moments, but it's a shame these two did not have more time, and this match seemed too one-sided. Rosemary, after all, is a veteran of the ring and should be booked as such, and do you think she should have lost her debut match, or would you have booked things differently? In Joe Hendry's latest concert, Ethan Page interrupted the fun, but NXT GM Ava responded by bringing out Trick Williams as the guest referee for No Mercy's title match. Page walked into a standing ovation and Trick counted to 3, but the show ended with Pete Dunne watching and warning Trick that he wouldn't make it to their match next week. While Hendry's latest song wasn't his best, it sparked the crowd and made the segment work, as it genuinely felt like Page was facing an entire movement coming for the NXT Championship. The segment put over Hendry a little too strong, suggesting that Page will retain this Sunday, but it was always unlikely that the TNA star would become NXT Champion. What mattered was to sell a big match for a major moment, and the show ended with its two hottest stars controlling the crowd with confidence. But what do you think? Will Page retain at No Mercy, or will WWE shock us all by having a TNA star capture the NXT title? How would you book this exciting title match? On Raw, as Drew McIntyre made his way to the ring, fans may have spotted something unusual about the jacket he wore on the show. Eagle-eyed fans will have spotted that the jacket had the coordinates reading 55.458694, -4.629194 in a subtle nod by Drew to a very specific location. After looking up the coordinates, you'll find a pub/hotel called Ayrshire and Galloway, and given that Drew's real last name is Galloway, this establishment could be related to a family member. If so, it was a very subtle piece of free advertising on McIntyre's behalf, and what's your take on this interesting detail from McIntyre's jacket on Raw? Let us know in the comments. Wes Lee told Zachary Wentz on NXT that he was on a different level, and Wentz said that he grew up when he left NXT before both promised to win their match at No Mercy. Lee deserves a chance to be a top name in NXT, but once again struggled to come across as a believable heel, and his talk of levels was undercut by Wentz's promo on losing a friend. Lee's most biting lines for Wentz also require insulting TNA as a lesser brand, and this feud is walking a tightrope between building a rivalry and simply talking down to TNA. Trey Miguel has been seemingly forgotten in this story, and this angle comes across as a way to end MSK rather than dealing with the long-term history of the Rascals. Still, Wentz and Lee should have an excellent match at No Mercy, and what have you made of Lee as a heel? Sound off below. Jada Parker spoke about transitioning from soccer to wrestling in an interview with Sarah Schreiber, but this would be interrupted by Roxanne Perez. The NXT Women's Champion said Jada's story is similar to Lola Vice and all the names she's beaten in the past, and Jada fired back, delivering a painful-looking slap to the Prodigy. Perez was floored by the slap, and if Parker can deliver more shots like this at No Mercy, we could be looking at the next WWE NXT Champion. Do you think Parker will reach the pinnacle of the NXT Women's Division, or will the Prodigy rack up another victim of her impressive title reign? Give your predictions below. In 2021, WWE made a huge deal out of signing Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson, but despite being a high-touted prospect, he never caught on in the promotion. After just one televised match, Steveson was released from WWE earlier this year and signed a 3-year contract with the Buffalo Bills just a few weeks later. The Olympian signed with the Bills despite not having any experience playing high-level football, and it appears his time on the field has gone like his time in WWE. Yesterday afternoon, NFL Network's Mike Garafolo reported that the Bills have decided to waive Steveson earlier today, meaning the former WWE star will not make the team's 52-man roster. This is a setback, but it doesn't necessarily mean the end for Steveson, as Garafolo said that he's a developmental prospect that could catch on with another team. There's even the chance that Gable could be brought back to the Bills as part of the team's practice squad, but that may be unlikely given his experience with the team so far. There were signs throughout the preseason that Steveson was unlikely to get a roster spot, as he only played sparingly for the Bills, recording only 1 tackle and no sacks. In addition to Gable's release, his brother Bobby Steveson, better known as Damon Kemp, was released from WWE in July after the promotion decided not to renew his contract. So far, Kemp has yet to appear for another wrestling promotion, And what do you think the future holds for the Steveson brothers? Let us know down below. Swerve Strickland was known as Isaiah Swerve Scott in WWE's NXT and made a significant impact as part of the faction Hit Row. Many fans viewed him as the standout member of the group thanks to his in-ring skills and charisma. However, his time with WWE was cut short when he was released in late 2021. During an appearance on The Rich Eisen Show, Swerve Strickland talked about his time in WWE. When asked about the reasons behind his lack of success in the company, Strickland attributed it to internal politics. He chose not to provide further details, indicating that political maneuvering was a significant factor in his WWE experience. "Political moves, just political moves, I can say," Swerve responded. "I'll just leave it at political moves." In a backstage segment that aired during the AEW All-In 0 Hour, Strickland was shown signing a new contract with Tony Khan, and as reported by Fightful, he is expected to remain with All Elite Wrestling until at least 2028. Strickland may have lost, but he's taking his setback in stride, and on Twitter shared some footage of his experience at the post-show after-party. In the clip, Strickland can be seen crowd surfing and was clearly having a blast, and captioned his tweet with the question, "Who lost?" The big question now is what the future holds for Strickland now that his reign has ended, but it appears that this defeat has done little to the confidence of the former world champion. On tonight's AEW Dynamite, Chris Jericho will be part of an 8-man tag team match, despite many fans being sick and tired of the veteran and his learning tree character. While Jericho has denied having go-away heat, the photos from All In showed many fans left their seats for his match with Hook and went to the bathroom during his Fozzy entrance. On Twitter, Tony Khan shared the news of the 8-man tag team match, and fans criticized the match and the fact that the Jericho Hook program is still going. Khan clearly saw the criticism, as in a follow-up tweet saying that, "Sometimes you just have to trust me," and said he expects this match will rock on tonight's Dynamite. Khan has also announced that Jamie Hayter will make her in-ring return tonight in what will be her first match since losing the Women's World title to Toni Storm at Double or Nothing in May 2023. Hayter returned to a huge ovation on the All-In 0 Hour kickoff show, where she confronted Saraya and her family after the former page claimed to be the best wrestler from England. As for Jericho, do you believe this upcoming match is necessary, and would you trust Tony Khan as he expects you to do? Let us know in the comments section below. Javon Evans had a great outing against Joe Coffey, but the numbers game of Gallus proved too much as Mark Coffey saved Joe from a cutter and set up his brother for the all best for the bells. Coffey versus Evans proved to be much more exciting than first expected, and the way the Gallus leader fired up as Evans tried to match him blow for blow made this feel special. It's a shame to see Evans losing though, as he's yet to get a one-on-one opportunity at the NXT title and is an exciting option to challenge Ethan Page. The young OG is an all-round talent who had the best match of the night, but this feud with Gallus should work on elevating him before he re-enters the title picture. Now, Fatal Influence was formed because Jacy Jayne and Fallon Henley were tired of rookies being given opportunities over them in NXT, with Jasmine Nix being their only exception. The trio received their official name last week, and on this week's NXT, Henley and Jayne picked up a necessary win over Meta-Four's Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. This victory showcased the dangerous chemistry on display at this group that could have Toxic Attraction level upside in NXT, while the women of Meta-Four remain a work in progress. Opportunities like these will help the pair grow, and while this wasn't a slam dunk, Legend continues to show out her power, which bodes well for the foundations of the division. With several big signings expected in the next couple of months, including Stephanie Vaquer and Julia, the division will need a strong foundation to support these huge arrivals. Unfortunately, this match also saw Fallon Henley suffer a broken nose, which she had to pop back into place, and she was bleeding from the injury as she and Jayne got the win. This was an injury we reported on last week as the show was taped in advance, and on Twitter, Henley borrowed a line from Dodgeball stating, "Nobody makes me bleed my own blood." At this time, WWE has not given an official statement on Henley's condition, but will continue to monitor her status for any further updates. Karmen Petrovic defeated Izzi Dame on this week's NXT, and after the pair brawled in the parking lot last week, this week's bout should have felt like more than it was. Instead, this came off as just another match, lacking the necessary heat, and this was hopefully just the first of a series of matches that will ramp up the tension. We hope these two can work out the kinks and get more time for future clashes, as this feud could prove to be a test of two women hoping to finally get a genuine spotlight. The D'Angelo family's Stacks, Luca Crucifino, and Adriana Rizzo defeated Charlie Dempsey, Miles Bourne, and Ren Sinclair in a match that was given plenty of time, but still felt short. The action cruised along until ramping up right in the closing moments, and while it could have been more, this was worth the time investment. Stacks was surprisingly subdued in the match, likely to give Crucifino and Rizzo the spotlight, but this angle still lacks a strong reason for the two sides battling. The Don has treated No Quarter Catch crew as a lesser group, and the results mostly back that up. Brooks Jensen defeated Malik Blade in a squash as expected, as Blade was never going to be a match for Jensen one-on-one, especially with NXT pushing Jensen with Shawn Spears. This story made sense, though the action felt flat at times, and hopefully Spears may be able to add an X factor to Jensen's loose cannon character he's still not completely selling. And that was NXT, and what did you make of the show? Let us know below, and thanks for watching.